of Steel, this is my Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice spoilers review. If you haven't watched the movie yet, click the link in the description below to check out my Batman v Superman spoiler-free review, and then, after you watch the movie, please come back so we can discuss our opinions on what happens in this movie event of 2016. Let's start the spoilers review off with what we started on the spoiler-free review, and that is Ben Affleck as Batman. This guy is absolutely the best Batman and the best Bruce Wayne we've gotten in cinema until today. I love how they got through his origin story like that and how you completely understood this character. And from what you see in this movie, how the character progresses throughout, you completely understand his way of thinking. You know that this guy has been through a lot from what they show you and from the dialogue he shares with Alfred. He always discusses with Alfred in this movie how many good guys are left, how many good guys are gone. You see how his world has been completely destroyed from many years of being Batman. And I love the addition that they did to making him brand the criminals. That lets people know that this Batman is much more aggressive, and you really feel that Batman hasn't always done this branding thing that he does in the movie. Although they only show a quick glimpse at it, you get that this is a new thing. This is a much more brutal Batman that the world of Batman v Superman is used to. I know people are going to complain a lot about Batman killing folks, but understand this. When Batman kills people, it's collateral damage, and when Batman kills people in this movie, he's always doing it from the Batwing or the Batmobile. And if you play any games or read any comic books of Batman, that happens a lot, my friend, so don't come complaining about how Dawn of Justice does that, but it has never happened before, because it happens the whole freaking time. I love Batman's motivation in this, and I love that we saw much more of Bruce Wayne investigating. And I love that we saw much more of Bruce Wayne investigating and showing how intelligent he is and showing his dichotomy of being Batman and how much he has grown as Bruce Wayne and not only as Batman throughout this movie. When he goes to the party of Lex Luthor, I love seeing how he investigates this and hacks Lex Luthor's computers. I really do like the nightmares he has, but one thing is that he has all different sorts of nightmares. I mean, one thing is to have nightmares about your family in the past that haunts you. Another thing is to have a completely different type of nightmare that comes a completely random part of the movie. That nightmare comes out of nowhere. And although it looks great, it is moved at a good pacing, it seems completely discombobulated from the rest of the movie and from the part where we were in the story of Batman v Superman. And it really works for great foreshadowing, but it's just out of nowhere, and it actually leads to nowhere. At least in Batman v Superman. And I love that little touch that they make, because when Batman kills the first guy in that nightmare, he looks shocked. You could tell that that was not real, although we all knew that because they ruined it. I like the little touches they gave to that. When Bruce Wayne goes to see the pen drive that he hacked Lex Luthor with, and the Flash vision shows up, I like that, but it was really hard to say what it was. At first I thought it was Cyborg, but then it looked like Ezra Miller. It is the Flash. But why is this coming now? And it seems like Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer were thinking, let's shoehorn this in because it has to be Bruce Wayne that gets this vision. And even after that, we don't get any payoff because Bruce Wayne doesn't mention it or think about it ever again. And even the Justice Leaguer's files, I wish it would have been Bruce Wayne that found them and not Lex Luthor. I wish that Bruce Wayne himself had those files. Lex Luthor could have the Wonder Woman picture, but Bruce Wayne was the one that should have found the Justice Leaguers and not Lex Luthor. One thing I really appreciated in this movie was its mature thinking and how it deals with Superman directly, because it's a callback to Man of Steel. I really love that movie in a way because of its mature thinking. And the beginning of this movie dealing with the drama of having a Superman in this world really makes it relatable, and I liked what it leads to. The problem is when we finally get to what we want to see, Superman in court, testifying, dealing with the consequences of what he has caused, dealing with the way he has acted, and being confronted by the people of Earth. And then that is just over with because of the explosion, the trap that Lex Luthor planned, Granny's PhD if you know what I mean, and he feels a little off because after that Superman goes away, we only get Batman for a bit, and then it's Batman v Superman. Right after that, we needed that scene with Clark Kent up on the mountain seeing his dad's ghost, which was awesome, but it was over too quick. We needed so much more of that. We needed a full scene, and the dialogue itself, although the conversation was good, the dialogue should be relatable to something we we know. The dialogue on that scene should have been something that called back to a certain scene on Man of Steel or to something that we established in Man of Steel. Because a great part of that movie is Superman's relationship with their parents and how it makes him relatable, because this guy is a god, and the fact that he is comforted by his parents makes him so human. And that is one of the things I most appreciate in Man of Steel, and I wished we could have seen a callback to that in this movie. Let's talk a little more about Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg. Love this guy. Yes, he's quirky, yes, he's over the top, but you see how diabolical and villainous and twisted and perverted he really is. You see throughout this movie the anger inside, and when it completely comes out, it's organic, it's good storytelling, it's good character development. Lex Luthor is such a twisted, demented villain. His story arc is the one that doesn't really have many loose threads, and the one that really shows it all when it comes to this character. I know we didn't get how he communicated with Darkseid and how he got to know Darkseid. I think that shouldn't be shown in this movie. I think that should be kept a mystery. I love the ending scene when he shaves his head and when he's in prison and is confronted by Batman. That scene was much like Nightmare on Elm Street. It reminded me a lot of that because it seemed that Batman was haunting him in a nightmare and he came to his cell in this dark and red lighting. That scene was awesome, and I appreciate it to this character of Lex Luthor because it finally shows the villain that we who read comics know, and not the real estate agent that has been shown in movies before. Gal Gadot was really good in this movie. I have no complaints about her. I thought her lines were well delivered. I thought her mystery kept going and is really built up for us to find out in a Wonder Woman movie. Yes, we knew she would come from the past and that was revealed, so I have no complaints about that. Let's talk about one of the most controversial things in this movie, Doomsday. I like Doomsday. I thought his reveal and awakening came a little too abruptly in the movie, and then it was final battle, let's go! And that could have been a little more organic because Lex Luthor uses his blood to make Doomsday along with Zod's body, but literally that's how they explain it in the movie. Lex Luthor talks to the computer in Superman's ship, and then it's just over with. We get a backstory, if you want to call it that Doomsday was an aberration in Krypton and that they knew about it and they would not name it, but that's really just it. Superman knew nothing about it, he had heard nothing about him. I like the element that Lex Luthor used the Kodak to create Doomsday, but still, it could have been exploited a little better, but I like the character, I like how destructive he is, I like how we see him evolve and getting the spikes, and there was a really great scene when Doomsday is on the top of a building and some Apache helicopters are going at him, and it really reminds you of King Kong. Really like that callback, I thought it was clever. But now let's talk about Batman v Superman. I love this fight scene. I love the Kryptonite Spear, I love how creatively he used Kryptonite. Not creatively because he uses like that all the time in the comics, but in this movie it worked. It was where we needed to be. I think the fight went on for as long as it could and as long as it should. I don't think we would have wanted to see a very long fight because we knew how it would eventually conclude and lead to the battle with Doomsday. The battle with Doomsday looks great. I think the destruction is a little bit too much because yes, Doomsday feeds on energy, but he doesn't need all those lightning bolts around him and everything exploding just because Zack Snyder wants to. Let's go back to the Justice Leaguer video files. I thought they looked good, but what I meant in my spoiler-free review that it went on for a little too long was that we didn't need to see the videos. Yes, I loved seeing Aquaman, but I think he took a little bit too long to throw his trident at the camera. I loved seeing Barry Allen and how he's not this smarty scientist guy. He's like a street thug, and I like that twist to the character. But I don't think we should have seen that. I think we should have seen Diana Prince look at those icons and then be taken back to the Batman v Superman fight and to the Doomsday fight, because that would have left us wanting more, and I think that it would have worked better for the movie. I think Amy Adams is a better Lois Lane in this movie than she is in Man of Steel, but I also think that her character was in scenes that she didn't need to be. She didn't need to be there in the final battle, and she was too much of a liability being there because everything is exploding in that island, and then Lois Lane is there but she's always safe. I was bothered by that. I think this movie, as far as characters go, they got it right. The storytelling is what's convoluted about this. So many plot lines and none of them pay off. Many times we get a whole lot of payoff to little build-up, like the Batman v Superman fight. What we got was great, but it was not enough. I love that they made me realize something that after reading comics for so many years I hadn't even think about, and that is that Martha Wayne and Martha Kent share a name, and I love that that's what brings Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, Batman and Superman together, because a big part of these two characters is absolutely their relationship, or lack thereof, with their parents. In Bruce Wayne's origin story, I love that shot with a gun stuck on the pearl necklace. That was really heavy, and there are a lot of things that are heavy in this movie, my friends, and trust me, this movie is a spectacle. Although that is a great reason and a great motivation for these guys to be together, I didn't think that was enough. Let's talk about the ending of this movie. Superman dies. I absolutely 100% respect these guys for having the balls to do that. In the second movie of your cinematic universe, that you don't even want to call it the sequel to your first one, you kill your main guy, your first character. That is balls, my friends. I absolutely respect them for doing that. We kind of knew that this couldn't be it. And when Bruce Wayne is talking to Diana Prince at the funeral, he says, I failed him in life, I won't fail him in death. Why did he fail him in life? These guys were never friends in about 5 minutes before Superman died. And I think we'll get those answers in the R-rated 3-hour version of the Blu-ray. I think when we see that version, probably a lot of us who review movies on YouTube will make a video talking about how probably, let's hope to God, great this movie is. I hope that this movie gets better with that half hour that was cut from this, because there are a lot of things that need to be explained. There are a lot of loose threads in this movie. That is the biggest problem, as we've talked about, with this movie. Many things are not well explained. Many things start off out of nowhere, and many things end off out of nowhere. We never see that scene when Batman breaks into LexCorp to steal the kryptonite. Why would you cut that? Ever? That scene in the movie couldn't be longer than 5 minutes. You couldn't have a 2-hour and 35-minute movie? And when the dirt lifts off of the casket right at the end of the movie, nothing new there. We knew Superman would come back eventually. I mean, it's Superman, but they will really have to explain how he does it, because the guy was impaled. This is not Death of Superman. If you read that, it's very well explained how Superman survived and why he survived. In this, you really need to think things through, Chris Terrio. Please make a great movie. I hope we come back with a Blu-ray version and have to talk about how great this movie really is, because this movie, it's a good movie, my friends. Batman v Superman needed to be much more than a good movie. I'm probably saying this because I hold Man of Steel in such a high regard, and that's why this movie feels so conflicted. I'm sad that I can only call this a good movie. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray, and I'm glad it's a good movie, but I wanted it to be so much more. As a Batman fan, as a big fan of Man of Steel, the movie, I needed it to be so much more. The only thing that absolutely works 100% for me in this movie is Batman. We get the detective, we get the brawler, we get the aged, evolved, knowledgeable Gotham Knight. I love that. And Ben Affleck's performance was great. Henry Cavill grows as a character. He's a great Superman, the best one we've had. But still, the story these characters are in is not great. And he leaves us wanting better for these characters, because we want to see a great DC cinematic universe. Just like we have a Marvel one. We want to see our characters from DC come to life. It hurts that this movie was not as good as it could have been, and it's not as good how it should have been. I absolutely think it's still a good movie. I've watched it 3 times already. It is the movie event of the year. You should see it and then judge it for yourself. I maintain my score over Martini. It's a good time anytime. That won't leave you thinking about it and want to have conversations about what it meant and everything. Let's hope we can make something out of the Blu-ray 3-hour rated R version. Please, Zack Snyder, Chris Terrio, make it worth for us. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in the spoiler review of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Let's discuss it in the comments below, because this is now spoiler territory. If you haven't watched my spoiler-free movie review, there's a link for it in the description below. And here is my Pride and Prejudice and Zombies movie review, and then you can answer the question and participate in the giveaway of Mr. Darcy Funko Pop figure I am making. Join me on Sunday when I upload my Morphin Reviews Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 review, and I announce the winner of that giveaway. Click the subscribe button, please, if you haven't done so already. We are almost at 100 subscribers, guys. Share this video with your friends so they might subscribe, and give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next review. Cheers!